Hello everyone, welcome to my podcast. I'm your host, Max Rush, and I thank you all for listening in. Today I will be discussing and teaching you all about the relationship between gender and aggression. Lots of people think aggression is associated with just violence, but there's a lot more than just physical aggression. There are such things as verbal and indirect aggression. Verbal aggression is used to hurt people through insults and threats. Indirect aggression is used when people gossip, spread false rumors, or reveal secrets without permission. Each of the different kinds of aggressions affect different kinds of reactions. Physical aggression causes physical instability, verbal aggression causes mainly mental instability, and indirect aggression causes mainly emotional instability, all of which are used by both male and female, though some are used more than others or on different levels. At first, I thought gender and aggression had no relationship whatsoever, but throughout research I found that there are psychological and biological factors in play that differ the way females and males act. On a website called homepages.edu, they state that the biological strength of the male can lead to acting more physical. They also say how the female socially mature exceeds the males, which makes the female more prone to indirect aggression. Well, like I said, the opposite can happen. The words tomboy and effeminate wouldn't exist if this theory of males and females maturing differently was 100% correct. Well, enough of that story. I got a couple of people right now that I want to interview and talk about for myself and what their views are for the bond between gender and aggression. First off, I have a guest named Ian. Let's welcome him onto our podcast. Welcome to my podcast. I'm so happy to have you. How are you?
I'm pretty good today. How are you, Max?
Thanks for asking. I'm doing well. Let's get right into these questions right here I got. What do you think about the relationship between gender and aggression?
Well, I feel that both genders are just as aggressive as the other, but a lot of times guys have more permission or they're more allowed to show their aggression with each other than girls are, just because of the mold that girls have to fit into.
Exactly. When you're raised, girls are raised differently than the guys usually, and they have to be more elegant and that kind of stuff, while boys have that permission to roughhouse with each other, and that's why boys usually think it's okay to be a little more violent. But I think girls are like that too. There's different ways of expressing it. Do you ever see a boy hit a girl or vice versa?
I've seen girls hit guys before, but I've never seen a guy hit a girl. So I feel like guys have permission to horse around with each other, but girls are just as aggressive because they'll hit guys too. So.
Well, yeah, I think it's unacceptable for a boy to hit a girl, so that's why it usually doesn't happen. But girls are okay to hit guys if they're being idiots, and I think that's what the world teaches, how we're grown up to act. Have you ever fought anyone yourself, a fight, really mad, in a fight?
I've never got into a real fight, but I have horsed around with friends here and there, so nothing too serious though.
Oh yeah, that's fine. As long as you're roughhousing for fun, a little bit of wrestling's okay here and there, as long as you don't get hurt. Do you ever feel like you need to use violence to get your point across?
Sometimes when I get real riled up, I try to, get my point across to people that are a little bit more stubborn, so that's probably the only time.
Yeah, I agree with that, but you just have to bear with them. You have to always be nice to everybody, even if they do disagree with you or just make you mad. Well, thanks for coming on this podcast, Ian. I hope you have a great day, man.
Thanks for having me, Max. You too.
Yes. I'll elaborate on this later. Have a good day. Ian had a lot of good points on the social aspect about how society puts men and women into different categories for how they should act. This contributes to how each gender acts on the psychological spectrum of behavior. Very well thought out by Ian. Next up, we have a middle-aged man named Jeff, who is experienced in yesterday's and today's world. Let's see how he responds to today's topic. Welcome, Jeff, to our podcast. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good.
Sweet. Let's get right into questions. How do you see the relationship between gender and aggression?
I guess I'm kind of a traditionalist. I always have seen men as being the more aggressive of the two.
Interesting. Has aggression changed as a whole from when you were a kid?
I think it has, and I think it's changed not only for men but also for women. I think they've both become more aggressive.
Yeah, from back then till now, it's been a lot of rising tensions. What kind of aggression did you see the most in high school? Physical, indirect, or verbal?
It was mostly indirect, people gossiping behind each other's backs, although every once in a while, you would see an occasional fight or some threats.
Yep, that seems like it is for modern day too. I guess not a lot has changed. Well, thanks for coming on, Jeff. Have a good day.
All right, thank you.
Very good work by Jeff. He explained the past well as the present. It seems as the gender relationship of aggression is the same in school as it was back then. But in the outside world, there's a heavier aggression towards one another. Through all the evidence that I stated and the interviews that I explained, I hope you now understand that there is a relationship between gender and aggression. The biological evidence from homepages.edu, the psychological explanation by Ian, and the brief timeline used by Jeff to show the past to the present all reveal that there is a relationship. Well, I hope you enjoyed this podcast. Peace out.